Module 5, Cryptography and PKI, Set 1. Symmetric algorithms. Symmetric key algorithms are algorithms for cryptography that use the same cryptographic keys for both the encryption of plain text and the decryption of ciphertext. The keys, in practice, represent a shared secret between two or more parties that can be used to maintain a private information link. Hashing. Hashing is the transformation of a string of characters into a usually shorter fixed-length value or key that represents the original string. Hashing is used to index and retrieve items in a database because it is faster to find the item using the shorter hashed key than to find it using the original value. Salt. In cryptography, a salt is random data that is used as an additional input to a one-way function that hashes data, a password, or passphrase. Salts are used to safeguard passwords in storage. A salt is one of those methods. 4. Initialization vector. An initialization vector, 4, is an arbitrary number that can be used along with a secret key for data encryption. This number, also called a nonce, is employed only one time in any session. The 4 length is usually comparable to the length of the encryption key or block of the cipher in use. Nonce. A nonce is an abbreviation for number only used once, which is a number added to a hashed or encrypted block in a blockchain that, when rehashed, meets the difficulty level restrictions. The nonce is the number that blockchain miners are solving for. Elliptic Curve, Ecc. Elliptic Curve Cryptography, Ecc, is an approach to public key cryptography based on the algebraic structure of elliptic curves over finite fields. Ecc allows smaller keys compared to non-Ec cryptography, based on plain Galois fields, to provide equivalent security. Key exchange. Diffie-Hellman key exchange is a method of securely exchanging cryptographic keys over a public channel and was one of the first public key protocols as conceived by Ralph Merkle and named after Whitfield Diffie and Martin Hellman. Digital signatures. A digital signature is a mathematical scheme for verifying the authenticity of digital messages or documents. Digital signatures can also provide non-repudiation, meaning that the signer cannot successfully claim they did not sign a message, while also claiming their private key remains secret. Diffusion. Diffusion means that if we change a single bit of the plain text, then, statistically, half of the bits in the ciphertext should change, and similarly, if we change one bit of the ciphertext, then approximately 1/2 of the plain text bits should change. Confusion. Confusion means that each binary digit, bit, of the ciphertext should depend on several parts of the key, obscuring the connections between the two. The property of confusion hides the relationship between the ciphertext and the key. Collision. In a half-duplex Ethernet network, a collision is the result of two devices on the same Ethernet network attempting to transmit data at exactly the same time. The network detects the collision of the two transmitted packets and discards them both. Collisions are a natural occurrence on Ethernets. Stegonography. Stegonography is the practice of concealing a message within another message or a physical object. In computing/electronic contexts, a computer file, message, image, or video is concealed within another file, message, image, or video. Obfuscation. In software development, obfuscation is the deliberate act of creating source or machine code that is difficult for humans to understand. Session keys. A session key is a single-use symmetric key used for encrypting all messages in one communication session. Ephemeral key. A cryptographic key is called ephemeral if it is generated for each execution of a key establishment process. Contrast with a static key. Secret algorithm. A secret key algorithm, sometimes called a symmetric algorithm, is a cryptographic algorithm that uses the same key to encrypt and decrypt data. Data in transit. Data in transit, also referred to as data in motion, and data in flight, is defined into two categories: information that flows over the public or untrusted network such as the Internet, and data that flows in the confines of a private network such as a corporate or enterprise local area network, LAN. Data at rest. Definitions. Data at rest, DAR, is all data stored on hard drives, thumb drives, digital video disks, compact disks, floppy diskettes, and other similar storage media. Data temporarily or permanently stored in any way, including but not limited to physical drives and non-volatile or volatile memory. Data in use. Data in use is an information technology term referring to active data which is stored in a non-persistent digital state, typically in computer random access memory, RAM, CPU caches, or CPU registers. Random/pseudo-random. Pseudo-randomness measures the extent to which a sequence of numbers, though produced by a completely deterministic and repeatable process, appear to be patternless. The pattern-seeming randomness is the crux of much online and other security. Number generation. Random number generation is a process which, often by means of a random number generator, RNG, generates a sequence of numbers or symbols that cannot be reasonably predicted better than by a random chance. Key stretching. In cryptography, key stretching techniques are used to make a possibly weak key, typically a password or passphrase, more secure against a brute force attack by increasing the resources, time and possibly space, it takes to test each possible key. There are several ways to perform key stretching. Crypto Service Provider. In Microsoft Windows, a cryptographic service provider, CSP, is a software library that implements the Microsoft Crypto API, CAPI. CSPs implement encoding and decoding functions, which computer application programs may use, for example, to implement strong user authentication or for secure email. Perfect Forward Secrecy, PFS. In cryptography, forward secrecy, FS, also known as perfect forward secrecy, PFS, is a feature of specific key agreement protocols that gives assurances that session keys will not be compromised even if long-term secrets used in the session key exchange are compromised. Security through obscurity. Security through obscurity, or security by obscurity, is the reliance in security engineering on design or implementation secrecy as the main method of providing security to a system or component. Low-power devices. Low-power electronics are electronics, such as notebook processors, that have been designed to use less electric power than usual, often at some expense. Low latency. Video latency refers to the degree of delay between the time a transfer of a video stream is requested and the actual time that transfer begins. Networks that exhibit relatively small delays are known as low latency networks, while their counterparts are known as high latency networks. Supporting non-repudiation. Abbreviation, S, and synonym, S definition, S assurance that the sender of information is provided with proof of delivery and the recipient is provided with proof of the sender's identity, so neither can later deny having processed the information. Source, S. Symmetric algorithms. Symmetric key algorithms are algorithms for cryptography that use the same cryptographic keys for both the encryption of plain text and the decryption of ciphertext. The keys, in practice, represent a shared secret between two or more parties that can be used to maintain a private information link. AES, Advanced Encryption Standard. The Advanced Encryption Standard, AES, also known by its original name Reindale, is a specification for the encryption of electronic data established by the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, in 2001. DE, Data Encryption Standard. The Data Encryption Standard, DE, is a symmetric key algorithm for the encryption of digital data. Although its short key length of 56 bits makes it too insecure for applications, it has been highly influential in the advancement of cryptography. 3DA. In cryptography, triple DA, 3DA or TDES, officially the triple data encryption algorithm, TDEA or triple DIA, is a symmetric key block cipher, which applies the decipher algorithm 3 times to each data block. RC4. In cryptography, RC4, reversed cipher 4, also known as ARC4 or ARC4 meaning alleged RC4, see below, is a stream cipher. While it is remarkable for its simplicity and speed in software, multiple vulnerabilities have been discovered in RC4, rendering it insecure. Blowfish/Twofish. Blowfish is a symmetric key block cipher, designed in 1993 by Bruce Schneier and included in many cipher suites and encryption products. Blowfish provides a good encryption rate in software and no effective cryptanalysis of it has been found to date. Blowfish. Blowfish is a symmetric key block cipher, designed in 1993 by Bruce Schneier and included in many cipher suites and encryption products. Blowfish provides a good encryption rate in software and no effective cryptanalysis of it has been found to date. Twofish. In cryptography, Twofish is a symmetric key block cipher with a block size of 128 bits and key sizes up to 256 bits. It was one of the 5 finalists of the Advanced Encryption Standard Contest, but it was not selected for standardization. Twofish is related to the earlier block cipher Blowfish. Cipher modes. In cryptography, modes of operation enable the repeated and secure use of a block cipher under a single key. A mode of operation describes the process of encrypting each of these blocks, and generally uses randomization based on an additional input value, often called an initialization vector, to allow doing so safely. CBC, cipher block chaining. Cipher block chaining, CBC. In CBC mode, each block of plain text is XORed with the previous cipher text block before being encrypted. This way, each ciphertext block depends on all plain text blocks processed up to that point. To make each message unique, an initialization vector must be used in the first block. GCM, Galois counter mode. In cryptography, Galois/counter mode, GCM, is a mode of operation for symmetric key cryptographic block ciphers which is widely adopted for its performance. GCM is defined for block ciphers with a block size of 128 bits. ECB, Electronic Code Book. Electronic Code Book, ECB, is a mode of operation for a block cipher, with the characteristic that each possible block of plain text has a defined corresponding ciphertext value and vice versa. In other words, the same plain text value will always result in the same ciphertext value. RSA, Rivest, Shamir, Adelman. RSA, Rivest Shamir Adelman, is a public key crypto system that is widely used for secure data transmission. It is also one of the oldest. The acronym RSA comes from the surnames of Ron Rivest, Adi Shamir, and Leonard Adelman, who publicly described the algorithm in 1977.